Okay, I think we'll get started. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on seamless migration. This will be using the BHOM Policy Migrator and Utility to migrate policies. Joining me today is Vijay Tomar, our Technical Support Analyst, and with his team, they're going to be helping us answer some questions in the Q&A today. We've got a lot to get covered, but before we get started, just a reminder, there is the Q&A section of Zoom. You'll find that at the bottom of your screen. If you do have any questions during this session, please put them into the Q&A. The team will be answering those during the session, and then we will also have some time at the end where we will do live Q&A. We have also got a few demos we've pre-recorded. They will also be available on YouTube post-event as separate demos as well. So during this, we will have some live presentation slides and also the demos as well. So we'll get started, and I'm now going to hand over to Vijay to talk about what's on the agenda today. So over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Sam. Hello and welcome everyone to this webinar. My name is Vijay. I am working as a technical support analyst with BMC Support for past 3 years. In this webinar, we will provide information on how to configure and use the BHOM Policy Migrator Utility. We will also demonstrate various scenarios of policy migration, promotion, and backup. In the end, we will review some commonly observed issues when using this utility and how to troubleshoot them. Let's proceed to our first demonstration, which is related to migration from TrueSight to BHOM. In this video, we will demonstrate how to migrate policies and groups from the existing TrueSight environment to a BHOM environment. On screen, we see the community link for downloading the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. We can find the latest version of the utility along with some older versions. The utility documentation has all the details, required commands, examples to help in using the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. The installation process of the utility is very simple. We will download the utility and extract it on a Windows machine. This utility can only be installed on a Windows machine. For now, it is not supported on any other operating system. The second step we need to do is, we will do an extract of the KM repo files. Please ensure we do extract here only. Extracting in any other path might impact the operations of this utility. The utility is now installed. I will demonstrate the policy MongoDB monitoring. I will edit the policy and showcase the details of it. This policy has a user ID and a password configured. The BHOM Policy Migrator utility also supports migration of policy along with the user ID and password. We require additional encryption details, which I will showcase in the later part. The very first step of migrating a policy from TrueSight to BHOM is exporting the policy from TSPS using the CMA Policy Migrator utility. I will now export the policy into a MO file using the following command. I will now run the command to convert the CMA policy into a MO file. This file will be available in the path that is specified while running the command. Let's get the required MO file. It is available in the policies folder. I am copying this file and we will go to the MO files folder of the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. Let's place the file in the MO files folder. Now we will prepare the command to run this utility. To prepare a command, we require multiple details from the source and destination. Let's first create an access key from the destination BHOM tenant. I am logged into the portal. We will click on the user. We'll go to the My Profile. We will click Add Key. Upon clicking Add Key, we need to specify a name for this key. Also, this key will have an expiry. The expiry can be as per our requirement. For now, I have selected 60 days. Let's copy all details of this key. Let's go back to the previous notepad file. I will paste the copied details and try to segregate. The very first part is the access key. I will copy and place it next to the access key. The next is our secret key. Let's place it. And the last, tenant ID. The port is by default 443. Also, I will paste the host name as the example policy has credentials configured. We will require the source and the destination encryption key. Let's first get the encryption key from the TrueSight. We have documented the steps to get the key in a knowledge article. It has all the required steps and commands those are required to generate the key. I will now follow the steps and generate the source encryption key. I have specified the database name and the database user. Now, I have entered the bash prompt and we will generate the key. I have copied the command to generate the encryption key. Let's copy the encryption key and place it into the notepad file. We are done with the source. Now let's get the key for the destination BHOM tenant. Please note, if we are using an on-prem setup, the key can be generated by ourselves. However, for the SaaS setup, we need to raise a support case and BMC will ship the key in a secure email. Similar to TrueSight, we have documented the steps and commands in a knowledge article. This knowledge article will help us to get the key from BHOM on-prem environment. I will now log into the controller node, which I will be using to manage the BHOM on-prem in Kubernetes cluster. The getNS command will list the namespaces. Using this namespace, I will be listing the Postgres pods on my BHOM namespace. Using the namespace in the next command, we will be getting the Postgres pod details. I will copy the Postgres pod name and use it in the next command. We will execute this command to enter the bash prompt. I am now connected to the database into the bash prompt. I will now execute the select query to get the destination CMA encryption key. We will copy the CMA encryption key into the notepad file. We have gathered all the required details that are required to migrate a policy from TrueSight to BHOM, which has credentials configured in it. Now let's prepare the command. The first required detail is hostname. I have updated the hostname. Now let's enter the port number. I will now update the tenant ID. Let's copy the access key and enter it into the command. Also, the secret key. The last part remains the source and the destination encryption key that we have got from TrueSight and BHOM. Let's update them. Our command to migrate the policy is ready. Let's execute this command. I will now navigate to the command prompt from the utilities path. I have copied the command and I will execute the same. We can see the policy migration has started. The MongoDB monitoring policy is now successfully migrated from the TrueSight to BHOM. Let's go to the console. We will do a refresh to quickly check if the policy is received. This demonstrates how easily we can migrate a policy from TrueSight to BHOM along with the configured credentials. Let's edit the received policy and check if we have all the details successfully migrated. The credentials are also migrated. I have demonstrated how we can migrate a policy with credentials from TrueSight to BHOM. Now let's try to migrate another policy which has thresholds in it. Remember, a policy in TrueSight side with thresholds is migrated to BHOM as an alarm policy. Let's take an example of the MongoDB thresholds policy. I have configured some thresholds in it as seen on the screen. Let's try to migrate this into the BHOM alarm policies. The command to migrate this policy will be almost the same. However, we do not have credentials in it, so let's remove the source and destination encryption key. We are migrating an alarm policy. So I will change the argument as per the BMC documentation, migrate alarm policy, which is for converting the TrueSight monitoring policies into BHOM alarm policies. Let's prepare the command to migrate the policy from TrueSight to BHOM. I will update the host name, the tenant ID, the access key, and the secret key. The command is ready. Now let's copy the command and go to the command prompt. We are already in the path of the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. Let's run the command. The policy migration has started. We see the message, policy conversion completed. This indicates our policy is successfully migrated. Let's refresh the console and validate the MongoDB thresholds policy is migrated from TrueSight to BHOM. Let's edit the policy and check if all the details as configured are migrated to BHOM. By default, the policy is migrated in disabled state. I will now enable the policy. The policy is successfully migrated and enabled. Thank you. In our next demonstration, we will discuss the promotion of policies or groups from one BHOM tenant to another. In this video, we will be demonstrating how to promote policies and groups from one BHOM tenant to another BHOM tenant. For example, we will be demonstrating by promoting the MongoDB monitoring policy from pre-prod environment to prod environment. To promote the policy, we require the hostname, port, tenant ID, secret key, access key, and tenant encryption key from source and destination tenant. I have prepared the command to promote the MongoDB monitoring policy from pre-prod to prod. Let's run the command. The policy promotion is in process and the policy promotion has completed successfully. Let's go to the BHOM console and refresh to check if the policy has been promoted successfully. Upon refresh, we can see the policy has been promoted and it is visible in the BHOM console. This demonstrates how easily we can promote a policy from one BHOM tenant to another BHOM tenant. Now let's try to promote a group in the same way. However, here we do not require the tenant encryption key from source and destination, as no credentials are configured while creating a group. Now let's try to promote a group from the dev BHOM tenant to prod BHOM tenant. We will take an example of group_demo. I have prepared a command to promote the group from the dev tenant to the prod tenant. Let's run the command to promote the group. Once we hit the command, the group promotion has started. We can see the policy conversion completed. This message indicates the group has been successfully promoted from the dev tenant to the prod tenant. Let's go back to the console. We will refresh to check if the group is received. Upon refresh, we are able to see the group in the prod environment. Using this method, groups can be easily migrated from one tenant to another tenant. Thank you. In the next demonstration, we will be explaining how you can export or import a policy or a group using file. In this video, we will demonstrate how to export and import alarm policy into a file format. The exported file can further be stored for a backup or it can be used to import into another BHOM tenant. I will be demonstrating two policies, those are displayed on screen. We can also import alarm, monitoring, or blackout policies along with groups using this method. The command to export and import the policies are almost the same, only the argument is expected to be changed. I am now updating the command to export the policy into a file format. Here, I have used the name of the policy as mongodb.star. The dot star refers to all the policies starting with name MongoDB. The exported policy or group is stored in a file format in the MO folder of the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. For now, we do not have any export stored here. We will now run the command that we have prepared to export the two policies with name MongoDB. The policies are being converted into a file format. The policy is successfully converted into a file. Let's validate. We can see there are two files present in the folder MO files. We will now go to the BHOM console, remove the two policies that are already existing here so that we can try to import them using the same command with a different argument, import policy. I am only changing the argument as we will be importing the policy into the same tenant we exported from. Let's run the command to import the two policies. Those are stored in the file format. Policy conversion completed. This message indicates the policies are successfully imported. Let's refresh the tenant and validate. We can see the policies are imported successfully. Using this method, we can import or export alarm policies, monitoring policies, blackout policies, and groups into a file format for transferring them to another tenant or for backup purposes. Thank you.
We are done with our demonstrations. One thing to take away is while promoting a policy from one BHOM tenant to another, it must be transferred in disabled state. If you are promoting the policy as enabled, it will be by default enabled and applied. Now let's look at a few commonly observed issues while using the BHOM Policy Migrator utility and how to troubleshoot them.
In this video, we will discuss and demonstrate some commonly observed issues while migrating or promoting the policies. Today, I will take an example of the MongoDB monitoring policy. I have already exported the policy file using the CMA Policy Migrator and placed it in the MO files folder of the BHOM Policy Migrator utility. I will now hit the command to migrate the policy from the TrueSight Operations Management to BHOM. We can see the policy conversion has started. It is now being migrated. However, it gives an error. The error states invalid solution version 1.1.2. Now this error indicates there is a mismatch between the version that is used in the TrueSight policy and the version mentioned in the settings.ini file of the utility. We will check what version is mentioned in the settings.ini file. We can see the version in the file is version 1.1.2. Now let's check what version was used while creating this policy. In the TrueSight, when we edit the policy, we see the version is version 1.1.32, which is the latest version. Let's update the same in the settings.ini file and we will try to rerun the migration. I will now re-hit the command and the policy migration will start. As we have corrected the version in the settings.ini file, we could see the policy is now successfully migrated. Let's refresh the BHOM console and check if the policy migration was done. The policy is successfully migrated. Now let's take a second example. We will migrate a policy with thresholds, which will be migrated as alarm policy in BHOM. I have extracted the MO file and placed it in the MO files folder. Let's run the command to migrate the policy from TrueSight to BHOM. The command is executed and we see an error, invalid path version 1.1.2, which indicates a mismatch between the package version. We will check the package version in TrueSight for MongoDB KM. Here we see the version is version 1.1.32. Let's copy this package. Now we will move to the BHOM Policy Migrator Utility KM repo folder. Here we will be checking the version available for the same MongoDB KM, what version is available. We can see the version is 1.1.2. I have now pasted 1.1.32 from the TrueSight and we will run the command again. Policy is now migrated successfully. We can check it in the BHOM console if we are able to see the policy here. Let's refresh. The policy is successfully migrated. Always ensure for any policy that you are migrating, the respective KM used in the policy should be available in the KM repo folder of the utility and the destination BHOM repository. Some of the common issues that has been reported while using this utility are documented as a knowledge article. Please refer to the knowledge article, which will help you to fix the issues faced while using this utility. Thank you.
We are done with the demonstration with the use cases, and the KS listed on the screen are the most frequently observed while using this utility. We will be sharing the hyperlinks to watch the KS. Now, let's discuss about the key takeaways about this webinar. We have discussed the overview of the BHOM Policy Migrator utility and its capabilities. We have also discussed about installation and the configuration process. We have migrated a policy from TrueSight to BHOM, promotion of the policies and groups across tenants, the best practices for a seamless policy migration. And if you are interested where to get the utility from, we have mentioned the community link to download the utility. This is the community link to download the utility and the documentation. Now let's move to the live Q&A.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is just start unmuting people. So if you do have any questions, I can see in the Q&A, I can't see any questions at the moment, VJ, so I'm going to start unmuting. Why we do that, I don't know if the rest of the team, Donnie and Rajiv, if you had anything else, and Ashish to add any other things that you've been seeing to help our customers on the call today, feel free to share while I start unmuting.
Sure, Sam. I think we can move to the Q&A. I think we have covered most of the topics. Yeah.
Okay. So there isn't any questions. So if you can or want to come off of mute, I am giving everyone the access to speak with us live. Otherwise, we can finish a little bit earlier. We didn't know how long this was going to take. As mentioned, all of the videos that were played today will have separate entries in YouTube. We will be sharing the full recording as well and we will be sending out the slides with the hyperlinks and anything that comes from today's Q&A if we have any questions. So I will now turn it over to our audience and ask if you do have a question, either come off mute or raise your hand.
Yes, I just have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Bertrand. Hello.
Hello. So I just asked a question in Q&A again, the server and agent threshold. With these utilities, the agent threshold will be converted in server threshold, or they will still agent threshold?
So Bertrand, it will be converted as an alarm policy. So all alarm. So in BHOM, we use the concept of alarms. There is no agent thresholds available in BHOM. You will not be able to configure agent thresholds from the BHOM console. So any agent thresholds that will be available in your TrueSight policy will be migrated to BHOM as an alarm policy.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you,
Bertrand,
Bertrand.
if there's a conflict, for example, if you have a server-side threshold and an agent-side threshold in the policy, that will come up and the agent-side threshold will be thrown away and it'll just create a server-side policy because it'll meet the same criteria.
Okay. All is
Okay.
clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can also see, Philippe, you're off mute. Did you have a question as well, or was it by accident?
No, I raised it in the chat
Oh,
in the
okay.
meantime, but that's fine. It's like slightly off topic, but regarding promotion, so from one BHOM tenant to the other, is there anything already available or in the roadmap for event policies migration and also for the dynamic enrichment data migration?
Philip, I'd have to go take a look at exactly what gets promoted, but there is in the event policy section of a BHOM tenant, you have the ability to export that policy, and then in your destination tenant, import that policy. So the event policies are the only policies that actually have an export import capability, but there are some limitations in what we can export and then what we can import. So as far as your dynamic data table, I'd have to take a look and see if it's part of it, because typically the dynamic data table gets uploaded to our backend server as part of the process. So I'm not sure if it's exported with the export or not. I'd have to look at it.
Well, I mean, what I tried didn't work. I mean, it didn't include them. So this is what I'm asking, if there's anything in the roadmap for that. But yeah, I mean, I can take a look at the details in the documentation.
We can take it away as an action as well, Donnie, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at it as far as if it's in the roadmap. If you're seeing a gap, then the other thing to do is add an idea in our communities to say it would be beneficial to have the following capabilities, and then provide your use case as well as what the benefit to you as a customer would be, so that product management can look at that enhancement request and make a determination on when they might add it to the timeline.
All right.
And actually, Philippe, if you do want to put a idea out, one, if you know how to do it, if you want to send me the link, I can share it with everyone that's joined today. But we've also got a webinar coming up in next month, which is what's new in BHOM. If you want to join that as well, again, I will share that link as soon as it goes live. You can speak to the product manager directly as well. So it might be worth doing it regardless, and Donnie and I will go and look away for that content for you as well. Okay. Next question. I can see, Gordon, you've got your hand raised. Hello. Can you hear us? I don't know if you're able to speak with us. Sometimes when people join via the browser, it doesn't always allow audio. So I'm not sure if you're actually hearing us, Gordon.
Probably
Maybe.
you can add your query into the chat if that's possible.
Yeah, I think sometimes people have audio issues. So Gordon, if you've got a question for the team, please do put it into the Q&A rather than the chat. That would be great.
He said he could hear, but We can't hear him.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Gordon, if you want to put that question in, that would be great. Let me have a look at the Q&A as well. Have we got anything else? Donnie, did you answer the first question that we had about the promotion? I don't know if that came off of the original discussion. I can just see that in the Q&A at the moment as an open question.
Yeah, that was his question related to dynamic data tables, and
Okay.
we have the ability to promote from one BHOM tenant to another.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to, so it's answered. And then Gordon's question was, can you provide the blackout process?
Yeah, again, the blackout policies are part of your event management infrastructure. And so there's a separate utility called the Event Migration Utility for TSOM, BPPM, cell KB migration to BHOM. So your question there, Gordon, would fall under that topic. And blackout policies are a function of that utility to migrate them.
Hopefully that's answered your question. If you just want to put that in the chat.
And I did in the answer that I provided earlier in the Q&A, it provides the link to that KA for that migration utility. So you can go out there and take a look at that.
Thanks, Donnie.
Mhm.
Okay.
Also, Gordon, you have the option to promote blackout policies from one BHOM to another, if that was part of your question. Yeah. So yeah, so there is a flag import blackout policy. So that is if you have a blackout policy exported to a file, you can that is from one BHOM tenant, and you can migrate it. You can import it into another tenant, the same blackout policy.
This is a very unique way of answering questions. There's another question back from Gordon. Sorry that it's working out like this. So his next piece was, can you import backouts from TSOM to BHOM?
Correct. That goes back to the event migration utility, Gordon. And so you need to take a look at that utility, because that utility will allow you to import blackout policies that are in your cell into BHOM.
So just to summarize on this topic, while getting the policy from TrueSight into a BHOM tenant, we need the blackout policies, we need the event migrator utility, which is completely different. But once the blackout policy is in a BHOM tenant, to export it or import it into another tenant or to promote it, we can use this utility, that is BHOM Policy Migrator Utility. I hope that answers your question.
And what we'll do, VJ and team, will summarize all this for Gordon and the rest of the team and customers that have joined on here. We'll put this into a Q&A blog post. I know we've had to do quite a bit of dialogue. Okay. Hi, Bertrand.
Yeah, again, me, sorry. Just a
That's
clarification.
okay.
Just a clarification against the blackout policy. I know that in TSPS you have also blackout policy that has nothing to do with the blackout policy from the cell. So can we migrate the blackout policy that we have in TSPS?
Bertrand, I need you to repeat what you're comparing. The blackout policy in the cell versus a blackout policy where?
In the TrueSight presentation server, we have the infrastructure policies, and you have also blackout policies. You can set up the blackout directly in presentation server, and that's add-ons. I'm not sure that these policies are in the cell, or they are.
When you're saying TrueSight Operations, you're talking about the TSIM server?
I'm speaking about the presentation server, not the SIM server, the TSPS.
That will black out the data collection. No, that policy is different. Here, we're talking about the blackout policy in the cell.
Yeah, okay. And I would like to know if we are able to migrate this blackout policy for data collection from TSPS to BHOM. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
No, I don't think we have that.
It is
Not sure.
possible. It is
It's
possible.
possible. Okay.
Yeah, I was just clarifying it. It took me a few minutes to understand, but yes, there is a migrate blackout policy switch which you can use with the BHOM Policy Migrator, which will help you to migrate the blackout policy from the TSPS to the BHOM.
So with these tools that you're presenting today?
Yeah, which is the tool we are presenting today, correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bertrand. And we'll also summarise that as well, because there's quite a lot of people speaking, and also one of our colleagues, Girish, that's on as an attendee as well. Thank you for your question, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, well, I'm going to assume that we've got all the questions that we were going to have for today. So just to let everyone know, we have got a couple of sessions coming up. Donnie's running a session next week. I will send out the details for that session if you want to sign up, or if you have already, great. We'll see you next week. We also have the What's New with BHOM that's coming up in early May. Do look out for that link as well. We'd love to see you there. And if there is any other questions or anything that's come from today, feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you to the team. And if you can spend 5 minutes filling in the survey that will come out with the recording, the blog post with all the quick Q&A and also the slides. If there's anything else that you'd like to be covered as a topic, please let me know. I am working also with the R&D team to get one around migrating from TSOM to BHOM to AIOps. So that session is yet to be planned. It's likely to be end of May, early June. So try and look out for some of these topics. I will share the link to the BMC community page where I put all of the live webinar sessions coming up.